Guess what, everyone? It's another episode of Reserve Seating. How are you doing?
Sure, CD
Rob?
starts right now.
So this week we are talking about our favorite songs from movies from 2023. So this year was a little bit more challenging for me compared to last year. Last year there were certain songs that seemed kind of anthemic of the year. So it's like Lady Gaga's "Hold My Hand" from Top Gun, or there was like Beyonce, or excuse me, songs from Elvis,
Yeah,
uh Black Panther, Rihanna
sure.
ballads, stuff like that. And like I felt like this year it's more deep cutty.
Yeah, for me, my list is definitely much more. It's not so much that I like the song, it's that I like the context in the movie that it's in.
Rob, what is did you rank yours?
No, they're not ranked, but I have three selections that I like for varying reasons. So we'll get into it here. All right, so my first one, I think we both have one from Bottoms. So I
We
think we'll
do. Yeah.
start there. I'm going to go with "Total Eclipse of the Heart" from Bottoms, which of course is a great song just to begin with. But more
Mhm.
specifically, the sequence in which it's playing. Ruby Cruz, who plays which is just a crush of mine. So much that character in that movie is just such a crush of mine. She is planting a bomb under the quarterback's car while the others are sort of TPing the house, and it's just a ridiculous, over the top sequence. And it's one of my favorite sequences in the film. And I love the way it's incorporating such a cinematic song because it's got these big buildups and
Mhm.
explosions, and sort of quiet moments as well. So it's a perfect song for the sequence that it's in, as well as every other song every other movie it's been used in.
My choice with Bottoms is so Charlie XCX is a co-composer on the movie, and I think it's a really good score, especially for a comedy. It's like a really, really solid kind of electronic pop score. There's one song that they have towards the end. It's like right before the end credits. It's as the football game, and I won't spoil anymore, but as the football game is over and they're sort of having kind of like the cool down session before the end credits, they play this song called Party for You, which is like definitely kind of like a chill, loungy electronic song. And I think it's just fantastic. It's something that I could like easily just put on whenever. She also has a song called like Yes, No, Okay, which is more of a single type of song. I think that's over the end credits. But her contribution to the movie, I think, is really, really solid and kind of gives the movie an extra element of personality that you don't usually get with comedies. Everybody should watch Bottoms. We'll
Everybody
be
should watch
talking more about
Bottoms.
Bottoms in the
Yeah,
next.
Bottoms rules. It'll be on my top 10. We'll talk about it soon. All right, my next one is going to be 50 Cent's PIMP. And
Okay.
it not so much that it's a song that I like, although it was an iconic song from my childhood. I'd be hard pressed to say I, didn't know it well.
Hmm.
But specifically for its use in Anatomy of a Fall. And if you've seen Anatomy of Fall, you know that it's sort of this French drama about this woman who's accused of her husband's murder, and it plays an important role in an early scene. I'm not really spoiling anything by telling you that essentially one of the things that tips prosecutors off to the idea that she may have killed her husband is that he incessantly played this song at a massive volume, a sort of acoustic, sort of almost like reggae sort of version of it. And it's one of the things that sort of damns her in the eyes of the public because of this song. So the opening of Anatomy of the Fall is a solid 10 minutes of this song on repeat, and then it comes back and plays a role again. They have to sort of test some evidence and may blast the song at certain points in the movie. So just for sheer dramatic humor, I know it's not funny, but it's kind of funny the extent to which they use it in the movie. Again, all this makes sense if you've seen Anatomy of Fall, which you should because it's a really good movie.
Yeah, I listened to it for the first time because I hadn't seen the movie, and it's pretty damn good. Okay, yeah, my next pick is This is, if I was ranking them, it's definitely my number three of the three. It's Still Alive by Demi Lovato from Scream 6. Remember when Scream 6 was fun and not a hotbed of controversy? So Still Alive brought back something that I appreciate in my Scream movies, which I feel like maybe was missing in 4 and 5, but I can't remember, which is like the really amped up, overcooked
Yeah.
rock song over the cast credits. And I don't think out of the context of the movie I like Still Alive as much as I do within the context of the movie, but and Demi Lovato is a singer that I've liked some of her music, but some of it is just she likes to shout everything, which I'm not always in the mood for. But I think this one's really good. It's just kind of like muscular, it's amped up, it's sort of like a real high note to end the movie on. It kind of gets you feeling jacked up and ready to go to Portillo's with your friends after you watch Scream 6.
But it's a solid song. I like Demi Lovato a lot as well. I like her sort of persona and the way she comports herself and stuff. So really cool song. I like that it's kind of, you said, like overblown or kind of overdone in that really
Yeah,
good way. It's fun.
it's a big hunk of Velveeta and I like it.
All right, so my last pick, I felt like I had to do something from Josh Sharp and Aaron Jackson's Dix the Musical. I
Mm.
don't know if there others watching have seen Dix the Musical yet. It's got a Trey Parker, Matt Stone vibe to it. While I was watching the movie, it was very much like, you know, dick and fart jokes and poop and all that stuff. And it's an interesting movie. There's a fun Nathan Lane and Megan Mullally performance in there. To me, it runs out of steam because it's kind of just got the one joke where it's like, it's Team America and they're gay and maybe they're brothers and whatever. But the songs in it are fun. The songs in it are very sort of on the nose. And there's a song. My song was called "I'll Always Be on Top" is the one that I chose, and it's sort of the opening song, introducing the characters, the two characters that they're sort of both big businessmen. They're successful, but obviously the song is very tongue in cheek in that they're very pathetic and lame, and they think they're big shots with women and all that, but they're really not, and it sort of sets up the adventure to come. There's really any number of songs I could have picked from Dix the Musical. I'll just say Dix the Musical again. And this one is just fun. There's a fun Megan Thee Stallion song in there as well about like being
Mm.
a boss or something. But I went with this one. But really, any song from Dix the Musical that they're again, think Trey Parker, Matt Stone. They're well done. That the comedy is it suits itself really fun to music.
Got it. Yeah, I saw the trailer for the movie once, but I did it kind of was released quietly and didn't really have
because
much of a
it's
light. So
because
yeah,
it's not that good.
that could be a reason. Yeah, that would be a good reason. And then my last pick is Heaven Must Have Sent You by Bonnie Pointer, who was one of the Pointer Sisters, and she went solo. And she had a disco hit of a Motown song, and this was from 1979. It's from the movie Sanctuary. Um, it sort of comes out of nowhere in the movie because just there, it's like a good solid act of Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott sort of sniping at each other and eventually like really having loud arguments with one another and fighting. And then just out of nowhere, just to kind of piss him off, she puts on the radio and cues up a disco song and is dancing to it. And it's an awesome song. And it really kind of like helps underscore the scene that you're watching because it gets things sort of like even more overcooked and heated. I keep saying overcooked, keep getting things more heated. And also just kind of the beat and the strings kind of lend a level of anxiety to it. I'm a big fan of disco music. I like the Pointer Sisters music quite a bit. So this was sort of like a perfect storm, but I kind of picked this one as my number one song for the year from a movie because it's an example of a scene in a movie where I'm just like, oh, this might be one of my favorite movies of the year. And it's because of a moment like this. And I think that movie has the best final scene of any movie this year. It probably, spoiler, will make my top 10 list. And I think a lot of it has to do with me recognizing how much the movie's working for me because of this scene where that features the Bonnie Pointer song.
Yes, I went back and watched this clip from Sanctuary as well, and it comes at a really great moment for the Margaret Qualley character.
Yeah.
Great movie, by the way, probably on my top 10 list as well. I think this movie maybe came out a little bit early in the year to get noticed at awards time,
Yeah.
but certainly would make, if it were positioned correctly, would have made awards conversation any other year. Unfortunately, it's gonna get passed over this year. But if you haven't seen Sanctuary, really cool. I love bottle episodes. I love movies that take place in one location. So really just two people in the cast, more or less, and it's this fun cat and mouse game. And we've talked about it a little bit, but that
Mhm.
conversation. It deserves more conversation. It's one of those movies that people will kind of probably discover over the course of the next couple of years and realize, like, oh, why weren't we talking about this movie? We were,
Yeah.
folks. Come back to us.
If Margaret Qualley's career keeps on like this upward trajectory, it could be the same type of discovery like Lady Macbeth
Movie
is for Florence Pugh.
read my mind.
Um, but it also sort of I mean like I've always liked Margaret Qualley, but like it delivers further on the promise of her performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where you're just like, oh, okay, it's entrenched now. Like she's gonna be a thing. Like she's capable of doing a lot of really cool, interesting roles. There's a few other songs that so like I had to whittle my list down from like 10 to 3. So I do want to give a few shout outs to a couple of other musical things from movies this year. My favorite soundtrack this year was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but it feels kind of like boring to pick like
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And also there's not one song in particular that kind of like jumps out at me. There's a couple of songs in Flora and Son that are really good. I think it's so funny that there's like these nice songs, but then like Eve Houston's character is just like, I want to say fuck and stuff and like just talk about sex during these songs and it's like okay sure. I think the song that Patrick Wilson does with Ghost from Insidious the Red Door is pretty good.
Should I watch Insidious: The Red Door? Do I need to see this film?
No, because it's the worst kind of movie where you start to watch it and you're just like, oh, this is better than its reputation, this is this good drama, and then it becomes like a shitty horror movie.
Okay.
So yeah, I would advise against that.
Got
Oh yeah, one more. Dance the Night by Dua Lipa from Barbie, I think is the best
it.
song from Barbie, but it's not getting pushed as much because people are going for the I'm Just Ken thing
Yeah.
and then the Gerber baby food Billie Eilish song.
Yeah, I mean, the Matchbox 20 song for me is just the standout of
Oh
Barbie.
yeah.
But I don't know if you can
That
really. I
should
mean,
have been on one of our lists.
yeah, I mean, I
It
guess
should
you
have
could
been on one
definitely
of our.
count that. I mean, I still think the best line in Barbie is "I'm gonna play guitar at you." I just think that's the best. Like that's
Yeah.
I've been that
Yeah.
guy. Like as somebody who has been that guy, like you don't bring your guitar out to play it. You bring your guitar out to play it at someone.
So we will be back next week with a special new theme of reserves. It's called Sneak and Stay, where Rob and I are going to go back time, pick out was having its sneak preview and watch that and talk about it, but then also talk about the movie that the studios wanted you to stay and be their guest to watch as a carrot for watching their sneak preview movie. So we are going to watch a special New Year's Eve one that they did in 1994, and I'll just read this verbatim from the ad. Toast the new year with a double feature sneak preview. See the New Year's most hilarious comedy. Anybody can guess that? Can anybody guess that? I'll try that again. Can anybody guess that? It is House Guest, starring Sinbad and Phil Hartman. And you can then stay and be your guest for the biggest movie of the holiday season, Tim Allen in The Santa Claus.
Until next time.
Uh, always be on top. Sorry.